Yeah.
Yeah.
What a resounding exclamation point on this series. All those dunks, run outs, steals at the end. That fourth quarter was effectively a rout. And Brooklyn was hanging right there. They had a chance to strike back, and they just never were able to string together enough stops. And that was my overwhelming sentiment coming into this series. You can't be a team with no defensive identity and expect to win at the highest level against one of the best teams in the NBA. And that's clearly what the Celtics are with Rob, without Rob. Rob helped a little bit tonight, but this was effectively a continuation of what they've done without him. And they're going to sweep this series. The Nets just got nothing left, and you saw the exhaustion set in. Blake Griffin just talked a little while ago about the spirit not being right with the Nets, and
he's right.
Not difficult to imagine after blowing a 17-point lead in Game 2.
Yeah, but I think that the bigger issue with this Brooklyn team, besides their defense, which has been putrid this series, it's been putrid all season, they're not getting the kind of offensive firepower that they're used to. I mean, and the Celtics have been able to neutralize their number one and number two options, and we rarely see that in the playoff series where a team
11 shots. 11 shots
Unreal.
for Kevin Durant.
And you know what?
Right.
I got some stuff
First
to
free
say
throw
about
didn't come to the
Durant.
fourth quarter.
So,
First free throw for Durant didn't come to the fourth.
Exactly, and that was on the challenge.
Questionable, yeah, and that was questionable. I thought Tatum got all ball, but I guess there was a little bit of
missed. Everyone wanted the high five, but it was a little here. Anyway, Bobby, what's your Durant
I
theory?
think Bobby wants to go ether on Durant right now. Is that
He's
true?
about to say some stuff.
He's about to go Nas on Durant.
The first two games, I think you can credit Boston and being physical, laying into them, tightening up the lane, all the different stuff we've talked about. He was passive tonight.
He was passive,
My Lord,
but all indecisive
out
too.
of the game. Yep, just completely out of the action. Dumping off to Brown whenever the pressure came, tentative, and with no real confidence in his shot too. When the crowd formed around him, he looked like he lacked confidence, and that's the first time I can really ever say that about him. I don't think I can ever in his career point to a moment where he looked like this. And it was bad in games 1 and 2. It somehow got worse here, and I thought he was just passive's the word. Deferring to Bruce Brown, Nick Claxton. He
looked like someone who was just mentally defeated. That the skills are still there, because if you look at his shooting, he was still a very efficient shot maker, but he didn't take that many shots. He wasn't assertive. It was almost as if he was just saying, look, I've been carrying this team all damn year. Can someone besides Bruce Brown give us something? Kyrie, can you give us something other than flipping off fans? Can you do something that can just take some of the pressure on me? Because I'm tired. And he looked like someone who was just mentally fatigued.
Yeah. That's spot on, Sherrod. That's spot on. It felt like he had the body language of someone that was like, make it worth it. You know what I mean? Like put me in the position to close this out or actually win a game. But until we reach that point, I'm gonna just be not just passive, but sort of like almost reluctant in a way. I mean, he did pick his spots when he wanted to attack, but I felt like he wasn't forcing the issue. He just wasn't the playoff Durant. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like he wasn't out for the kill like he typically is. Like one of the greatest scoring.
Durant. He wasn't regular season Durant. Yeah. Preseason Durant.
I don't even think this was exhibition season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
11 shots.
No, for real.
I mean, he has quarters where he takes more than that many shots.
Exactly.
Let alone a game. It was But let me tell you right now though.
8 attempts.
Yeah. He's still one of the best players pound for pound in the planet. Don't let this series fool you. He's still a badass man out there.
But it's
I just
crazy.
Think that
Yeah, but he's got enough heart for this one though. Like, does he have enough heart to
I mean, look, he almost single-handedly got them through Milwaukee last year with Harden on one leg, and Kyrie had rolled his ankle, so he was out, and he just took it. He said, "Get on my, jump on my back, boys," and he so we saw it. I mean,
that's a motivated Durant.
We saw it we saw it very recently, but this feels like one of those seasons where Kevin Durant probably can't wait for it to be over. From the drama,
exactly.
Harden, his injury, the Simmons situation here, Kyrie just being a wacko, and it just none of this being anything that he signed on for. He loses a year to an Achilles. He last year everything goes wrong with injuries late, and then this year submarined by Harden and Kyrie. he looks like he's like, you know, I should have stayed in Golden State.
Let's just end this. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the body language.
Yeah, it's like, these guys are gonna win another. Imagine what they do if I was there. Oh my god.
And it just snowballed from the beginning, right? First, it was just like, okay, Kyrie, he's gonna be on that stance. Hopefully, things change with the CDC. Let's just see what happens. And then James Harden wants out. It's like, wait, this isn't what I signed up for, guys. Like, what's going? Look at Boston; they're getting better over there. Like, you know what I mean? And I felt like when Kyrie was allowed to play home games again, there was that window of opportunity for them, and they did finish the season strong.
3,000
wrong, but that continuity.
Sorry,
right?
We got 3,000 in the both rooms. I just wanted to celebrate. I was looking at the counter. Yep.
There's only the fifth.
That's a first timer, I think, right?
That's
John?
a first timer. Yeah, it's a first timer.
Hey, welcome everybody. Good time to introduce us all, John.
Yes, I'm gonna welcome back
John. Pretend it happens all the time. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Real quick.
No, but real quick. Hold on, let me finish this, Bobby.
No, real quick. Me real quick. Hold on, let me say something.
The regular season 10-5, right?
Wait, real quick.
That doesn't make
real
up for continuity
hold on.
against the best defense in the NBA. That doesn't make up for going up against Tatum and Brown, in this newfound, they've seen the light now on both ends of the floor. And what an example of that by Jason Tatum in particular today, right? Man, I've never seen Tatum play defense like that. Like just every single play, never taking one off. Like, I asked Ime about it. And Ime was just like, well, yeah, he's been doing that all season long. I'm just like, yeah, but, something's changed in the last couple of weeks. And I thought tonight in Game 3 was the best example. It really was. Yeah, not just because he had 6 steals either. It's just defense. He was just everywhere, man.
This is like change. Go ahead, Bobby.
It went to the next level because he's playing a listless team that's sloppy, that isn't connected, that has no.
And he
discipline.
smells it. He knows it. He knows the vibes. He knows the vibes. Yeah.
I mean, you saw Brown drop a pass at one point. Like, it was just a mess. And like after a 2-0 series lead formed after blowing a 17-point lead, this is why I started to talk about sweep. Because when you lose in that fashion, when you have Durant playing like he did in Boston, you just start to see a team that's started to crumble a little bit in the second half of the season, lose one of its star players at the midway point. This all had the makings of everybody on Brooklyn just saying, maybe this just isn't our year, and we might just pack it in here. And I don't think they completely packed it in here, but once they took 2 punches, those turnovers.
That's the Celtics.
The second half, they faded.
This is what's different about the Celtics over, in the past is all of those runs, those punches, the Blake Griffin run, things like that. Those are normally the types of things that would tip games in the other team's favor, and the Celtics wouldn't recover from them. Every single time the Nets have something for them, they come right back. Every time the Nets got it to 3 or 4, Celtics pushed it right back to 9, and Nash is calling a timeout. Every time they have an answer, and that's the best part. In fact, if they didn't get casual sometimes when they were at 10, 11, 12 points, they could have pushed this thing into the 20-point realm and cruised a little bit. They did get a little passive. Their offense broke down a little. They took some sloppy shots. They were careless with the ball. But they could have, they had an answer for everything the Nets did. That's got to be demoralizing too. You're Brooklyn, you think you're coming back, and then boom, Brown just goes off there during those Blake Griffin minutes.
That was sick.
That was like a Cantor stint, I said. Like, he made a few threes, but look what's happening on the other end.
And the Celtics were like, please keep shooting. The next time he got it after he made 2 threes, every Celtic was like, they backed up like 15 feet. They're like, go again. Take another.
We've all been in those like rec league games where it's like, no, this dude, just give him the ball and just like, please go in. Just don't do anything about that. Yeah.
By the way, only the 5th time Durant took 11 shots or fewer this season.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we said it off the top, Bobby. I mean, the fact that it's the attempts that tell the story. I mean, the fact that they're at a point now where they're even preventing Durant from even getting shots off is unbelievable.
Yeah. I think some of it's the Celtics, some of it's them.
Do you think Ben Simmons should have dressed differently tonight?
Yeah. I don't have a shot.
He didn't look like a guy who was about to come and save the team in Game 4.
Well, we can talk about that.
Close to being.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
That's what I said. If they went down
with Mary J. Blige.
If they went
Look,
down 0-3, I had a hard time imagining him coming back, and I definitely do not see him playing.
I've never seen Mary J. Blige more than I did tonight on the television screen. I cannot figure that out. I don't know what they were saying, but they could not stop showing her on the TV screen. She looked good.
It's funny.
I have no problem with it, but
no, it's funny because I saw the comments on Twitter, but they didn't put her on the big screen until like the fourth quarter, and they do this segment where they point out the celebrities in the house or whatever, and it was like she was like the seventh person, I guess. But, yeah.
100 times.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Sherrod, talk real quick. I want to make sure we can hear you. No, we lost you. Leave and come back. I thought I saw you trying, and I didn't see it. Leave and come back if you can.
Sherrod has something to say about Mary J. I'm sure.
About Mary J. But we talked about the Simmons thing is interesting because
it's really not.
No. Here's why.
Maybe not now.
Hold on, Sherrod, go ahead. Time out, guys. Hold on 1 second, Sherrod. No, nothing. We don't have you. Check the settings and jump back in. I don't know why it's not working.
Might be that plug it in, unplug it and plug it in type situation.
Turn it off and on.
Blow in it.
Yeah.
John, I don't think we've ever. I don't think we've ever talked more about a more inconsequential player. Like, he's just not good enough for how much we've obsessed over him for a year. When's he gonna come back? Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna fit? What's he gonna do in this series? Used to be.
I didn't think he was good enough for that trade.
I said
you guys know how I felt about that.
That's the key phrase, Jimmy.
Guys,
we don't know what he is at this point.
I get it.
Oh, John's going to be talking 10 years from now. Remember
Ben Simmons? Come on. It's somewhere in the middle, and it's not – I mean, you don't have to go to – he's an absolute bum and he can't do anything. He's a disappointing player. He may not want to play. He may not have any heart. He may be, honestly, afraid – to go out there and to do whatever it takes because he's afraid to fail. All of these things might be true, but he was also an all-star last year and two-time all-defensive player the last couple of years. He's a three-time all-star. Like, he's not awful. Just stop saying
We're using
awful.
A lot of past tense, John.
We're not. This was the last time we saw him. He was an all-star basketball player. It's not that past tense. The most recent version of him is an all-star. So it's not ridiculous. Is he going to help this team?
And now he's just a clown.
Now
he literally dresses like a clown and sits on the bench.
Yeah, he's not helping
he's
this
a side
team
Joe, literally
this year. Exactly. He's not
that was my point all along. What's the point?
Jester vibes. Vibes.
But the further it went on, the more it became clear, right? For a while, it was like, okay, let's see what happens. And then we start getting later in the year, we're like, he's got to play, right? And then it was like, okay, he's still not ready. And then on it goes. And then we enter the playoffs and we're like, he might not be ready for the start of the playoffs. What's going on? The thing that clinched it all is the game 4, not game 3. You've got to be kidding me. He's physically ready to play in 2 days, but he wasn't tonight with your season on the line. If this guy matters, he's got to play. And if he doesn't play tonight,
it's too late, John.
See you next year. Useless.
Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah. You're not going to throw him into this.
Basically an exhibition. It might be good for him to get some burn. It's a meaningless game. In that sense, you might as well throw him out there and see if he can still dribble the ball a little bit because it's a meaningless game. I mean, even if the Nets win it, I mean, we're just, it's semantics at this point. It's just a matter of time.
Joe Sway, I think you were.
The whole thing is a disaster. The Nets front office should be all collectively be fired, every single one of them, for how they screwed up this season. Seriously, it's colossal failure on the Nets front office part. You traded James Harden, and I know that there were issues internally with Harden and everything, but you literally traded him away, and you traded for a player who never played for you. When they made that trade, we all thought that both teams were going to be better because
I did.
Because
let's try Sherrod again.
Perfect.
Hold on, time out. Sherrod, I got to see if he works. Okay, we don't have him. Sherrod, we still don't have you. Nothing.
Gotta try a different browser.
You might have to try a different browser or just check the settings. Input. Make sure you're
maybe like the mute button.
Make sure the microphone isn't on the output. Microphone's got to be on the input. Jimmy, go ahead. Sorry, I just want to see if we can get Sherrod back.
No, you're good. I want to get Sherrod back just as much as anybody does.
Yeah, Sherrod, you're gonna have to leave and come back. I don't know what's going on here. That's weird. We had you before. Jimmy, go ahead. Finish.
No, I mean, talking about the Nets front office, I just feel like if that happened in Boston, we would all have their heads. I mean, we would say, how could you screw up this season? You had a championship caliber roster. You had 3 of the best players in the NBA. You traded one for essentially nothing. You traded for a guy who's a loser. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this guy, Ben Simmons, is a loser. And I almost feel bad saying it, but I really don't, because I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, hell, at one point, I had to practically defend the idea of trading Jaylen Brown for him, which, listen, I never wanted to do it, but I had to defend the idea of it. Can you imagine if the Celtics did that and the guy just refused to play?
Yeah,
mean,
we
I
were
don't
wrong
remember
on
you
that
saying
one.
that.
that'd be the end
Who
of it.
said that? You
would
and Bobby said that shit? I
Yeah,
didn't know
we
that.
Yeah.
that would
we
be
said it-
literally the end of
Was
it.
that on the show?
Like,
we said it was something that could have potentially
this is
saved
a
last
long
year,
time ago,
given his
Josué.
playmaking.
We don't need to dig up the
It wasn't
old
this
audio.
year.
We don't need to dig up.
No,
the
this
old
is
I know.
this is the middle of
As
last year.
long as it wasn't this year. All right.
No, it wasn't this
But-
year. My point is,
Okay.
the
That's fair.
Nets have just
Somewhat.
a huge issue on their hands that goes well beyond this series.
Oh, don't get me started on them. But I do want to talk about what they're saying in their presser here. Steve Nash talking about them looking tired. I feel for them, he says, after 40-minute games, Kyrie fasting for Ramadan. Kevin Durant, I'm just thinking too much, to be honest.
I don't know what he's thinking about. Passing the
That's
ball.
what good defense does. That's
Yeah.
why. It makes you second guess yourself. Especially when you're on the verge of, well, now it's before it was official, on the verge of going down 3-0, man. Like, again, Bobby, we talked about this throughout the game. We've never seen Durant like this. We've never seen him so rattled, and it's a ripple.
He's
effect, you know?
rattled.
Look at the performance you got from Bruce Brown. I mean, you got guys that, like, look, I know, you know, they're missing the Joe Harris and, you know, the those other role players that used to step up, but like the old Durant would have taken that and would have just been more composed, more focused. I felt like if you get the same performance from the other guys, from the role players in game 1, there's no way you would see Durant like this. Or even in game 2, I just feel like he sort of sees what the future has in store for this team. And he's like, well, if you guys put ourselves in a position for me to attack in the fourth quarter, then I'll do it. But until that happens, until I see it, I mean, I'm just going to go with the flow here. And I just feel like he was just going through the motions, you know? And for somewhat, you could say the same thing for somewhat for Kyrie as well. But Kyrie just looked out of sync, you know. It looked like he wasn't even trying to, you know.
So let me give Durant this.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
He had to try going to the roll, guys. And I said that after game 2. Like, they did it well in the first half of game 2, got away from it, and I thought that lost them game 2. But here, you get to a point where it becomes unreliable. Brown was scoring basket after basket. All of a sudden, he's shooting threes off the backboard. Claxton had that nice run that got Brooklyn back into the game. All of a sudden, he's erratic on his layup attempts and missing shots inside back to back. That sequence really swung the game here. So this is my other criticism of Brooklyn. They never established trust in their role guys to where you can steadily rely on them for a length of a game. Look at what's happening with Boston here. Tatum's been effectively removed scoring-wise from most of these first halves. In fact, all 3. And he's finding Grant. He's finding Horford. Smart is getting open looks. Brown especially has been the biggest beneficiary of the pressure Tatum's receiving. And they all are just on a string offensively. Brooklyn, it's like, all right, I'll try it now this half. Oh, we'll get Brown going this half. Oh, next half, let's try Kyrie. It's just basketball on the fly. And you can just see this group that hasn't played together, hasn't developed the refs. It's pickup ball, Josué. They're running up and down the court. They go 4 or 5 minutes without playing defense.
More Kyrie Irving here. Celtics have been gelling since Christmas, and the Nets are in a new experience as a group, and we have to respect that. It's just this isn't how you talk in the postseason. You're talking like this just isn't how
they're
you
talking
talk.
like this is year 1, like month 1. This is year 3 for them.
Yeah.
And
you're not talking like you're not talking like you're serious about coming back right now. You're talking about it like you're completely, you know.
And Kyrie started that after game 2, John.
And Kyrie, you knew where it was going to go with Kyrie.
He was talking about continuity after game 2. Yeah.
This wasn't straight up Kyrie quitting, but it was.
He was bad tonight.
It was the type of stuff you expect when a person wants to stop trying, which is a lot of lazy reach-in fouls. And also contested shots. And that's what they're forcing him to take. Every single shot he takes is a contested 2. And that's it. He's just dribbling, and I'm just going to jack it, and whatever happens.
Right.
And if it goes in, great. And if it doesn't, I'll see you next year. And that's kind of where he's at right now.
Yeah, it's a mix. It really is. Boston's on their game. Brooklyn, it's not sharp. It's the opposite. Whatever that is. Jimmy, you got a word?
Do I have a word?
Opposite of sharp. Dull?
Oh,
that
yeah,
it?
dull. Yeah, dull. Yeah, it's
Are
dull.
we
It's a
really
dull-
doing this?
It's a dull team.
Flat. They're flat, man. They're lifeless. They're playing. They're done. I mean,
What's
I
the
think
opposite of sharp? Not sharp?
They got run off the court tonight in transition.
Yeah.
They
So I mean, this is the conversation we had. This was why I wanted Brooklyn. It's a flailing group that was ready to crash and burn, and you had to do it. You had to go out there. You had to win some tough games. It wasn't easy early on, but once you did it, they went right into the
Well,
ground.
the
I'm
one
gonna say this too. You know what I'm also gonna do right now?
It's what Ime wanted.
I'm gonna call out Kyrie Irving's leadership capabilities. I don't think he has any.
none.
The comments tonight, the comments after game 2, just go down the line of past teams with the Celtics. I mean, he wasn't the leader on the Cavs. LeBron James is is always going to be the leader on those teams. I don't know if Kyrie Irving is capable of leading a team. I don't know if he has.
No
that
one's
mentality.
following him.
Nobody's following.
I don't
him.
think. I
In
don't
the
think
You know
that
what the
was
biggest
the
mistake
story.
was?
How does anything he said after game 2 or tonight? How is that something that anybody on your team wants to hear? How is that rallying the troops? How is that making the guys believe that you can win or you can make a comeback? It's not. Like, this guy is so not anything capable of leading a team or leading a group of people. And like,
He didn't show up, Jimmy. He didn't show up for the season.
Doesn't show up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, not only what he's saying right now, but the fact that he literally didn't play for the majority of the season. The whole roster and the whole situation is a disaster. If you're a Nets fan, which you aren't, because I don't know if they actually have Nets fans. But if you're a part owner, if you're a member of the organization, you must be pretty upset, because those are really the only people who I think would care at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like this was always Durant's team, right?
Are we going to see if Sherrod can talk real quick?
It's Durant's team, Josue, but it as we know, it takes more than one guy to win. And
right, but I don't think Durant realized that that's what he signed up for. You know what I mean? Sherrod's swearing right now.
Durant knew it, Josue. He had a choice.
But I don't know. He didn't know it before that, Bobby. Why would he do it if that was the case? I don't think he knew it. I think he thought that he could be a. You're saying what?
I'm saying he had a choice at the beginning of this season when Kyrie didn't show up. If he signed,
I thought you were saying that he knew that Kyrie's going to be that he knew what he was in for, because I don't think he did. I think he thought it as, if I take him under my wing, things will be different. You know what I mean? Maybe we get a third piece, but that's enough. And then I can prove to everyone that I don't need to join
Kyrie
a
Irving
super team to win a championship. It's
Dude,
the same narrative that LeBron did when he went back to Cleveland, and ironically, it was Kyrie as his
Kyrie
right-hand man next to Kevin Love.
I know we obsess about Kyrie, and everyone's like, why do you talk about Kyrie? Because he's interesting. He's good theater.
He's the story with this team.
And he's a story because he's the reason that this team absolutely collapsed and fell apart. He's the reason James Harden, who was going to hold his nose and see if he could make it work because they thought they'd win a championship, was like, nah, I'm all set. I'm out of here. He's the reason.
You're really not getting vaxxed? All right, I'm out.
Yeah, no, seriously. But
I'll give him the vax. That's what he said.
He's moved the goalposts like 100 times. We don't need a coach. We're being out coached. Okay. We're a veteran team here and we just manage ourselves. We can do whatever. We've got a lot of new players. Give me a break with new freaking players. Okay. The Celtics after the trade deadline had like 6 players.
Six new players.
Like
half the bench was
6
gone.
total
half
players.
the bench was gone. Yeah, right.
So whatever. I mean, all of this stuff it's just such. Who buys it? That's the whole point, is like everything about Kyrie's world is convincing himself. If you say it and it makes sense, you believe other people would think that it makes sense. But everyone's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? And that's just, so he destroyed this team. This was a super team that should have won 2 or 3 championships.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't think a single player. There's probably one handful that are in the same league in terms of the destructiveness that he's caused to multiple franchises. 3 ended the Cleveland run by forcing his way out of the Cavs. Maybe the right move because LeBron was on the way out too, but still, it had the impact it did on 18. Boston, we told that story over and over again. And you know what? Credit Bob Ryan, who, when he went to Brooklyn, Kyrie said, this isn't going to be his last stop. And I believe he said as well, like, let's see what happens here, because
Sacramento, baby.
Boston, it could end the same way in Brooklyn. But it's too late, John. Like, they can't move him now. Like, they can't move on.
Why didn't
There's
they
no
make
better
that
option.
trade? They should have traded with Sacramento when
All
they
right.
James
All
Yes.
All right.
Sherrod,
Okay.
Sherrod, only you for the next 15 minutes. Go. Nobody else talk.
Just really quick, you were talking about Kyrie just a second ago, just way.
Yeah, we
bit.
still are.
Listen, to me, the deal that's out there that I think if you're Brooklyn, you need to seriously think about making is with Portland. Portland makes the most sense. They've got a that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. But he's got to ass out though.
He'll retire, Sherrod.
See,
No.
Portland might be a good place for him.
To play.
He'll retire. He may retire prematurely, but it's not that moment's not right now. No, he's not gonna. No.
I'll believe it. I won't believe it until he actually does it. I just think he's too talented, too good, and frankly, I think he just loves the attention, low key, that he gets as an NBA player to just walk away. Can't see it happening. Not this soon in his career. No.
So you're talking Lillard for Irving?
Something, and I couldn't get on early because Jimmy had said something about how they just basically need to blow up the front office and listen. Let's be honest though. The issue is Kyrie. When you look at all the issues they've had, that's the epicenter of all their problems. So Sean Marks has done what I think you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build a strong team, and he did that. But when key pieces of that strength basically implode, and you can't control that, how is that on you?
Well, part of that, Sherrod, part of the reason I said that was because they traded James Harden for a player who has not stepped on the court, and in doing so, essentially ended their season. Because I know that there were issues internally with Harden and the team, but like you literally traded him for a zero this season when you had a team that many people thought were the favorites to win the title. So in that sense, I feel like that was a huge whiff on the front office's part.
They miscalculated how soon he'd be able to help them. Because when they made the deal, you figured that he might get a few games in before the regular season and be ready for the playoffs. I think that was a reasonable expectation. Who would have thought that? Why?
Yeah, because he's not there mentally, right? Why would they even think that?
Because the thinking was that while he was in Philadelphia, he was having issues not only in terms of the team and the front office and the coaching, but that damn fan base is it'll challenge anyone's mental health. When you think about that Philly fan base, you come to Brooklyn, you're playing with a couple of really, really good players that you can learn from, and you don't have the pressure being the go-to guy that you were going to have in Philadelphia. A lot of things made sense why things would work out better for him in Brooklyn than they did in Philadelphia. But again, if you're Brooklyn, there's no way you could have anticipated that he would not be ready to roll before the playoffs. There was nothing that indicated that. He was ramping up in Philadelphia. Yeah, and so I can't be mad or hate on them or want to get rid of them because of, frankly, a miscalculation on their part, which, again, no one would have saw that. No one saw that coming.